Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel, Gen X Nation. I created this channel to talk about current events and topics that I see going on in these internet streets, these YouTube streets, and all on the TV. I know everybody have this ideal of what Gen X is and how Gen X people operate. I will tell you this. We are very forward. We speak our mind. We don't hold anything back. We don't bite our tongue, but we try to do it in a polite way. So I'm not going to be disrespecting anybody on this channel or calling people out their names, but I'm going to be stern and I may say a few little shady things here and there because that's how we operate. We do have a little bit of sarcasm in our personalities, especially if we was born back in the time that Gen X was born. So with that being said, there's one show that everybody's been talking about. It's hot out here in these YouTube streets, and that's that Love and Marriage Huntsville. Oh my God, that show is definitely a good show, but it can get very stressful to watch. Okay, you can really get invested in if you take too much time watching and getting too much into what is going on in these people's lives because we don't really know these people. I don't know them. I never met any of them before. However, I have been to Huntsville before. That was some time back when, I served in the military years ago. So, without further ado, what I'm going to do here is kind of give you what I would call a rundown. And my rundown on this particular video is going to be just about the female cast members that I see, how they fit into the show, how I, as a Gen X, would categorize them based on their personalities and the things that I've seen them, how they behaved on the show, basically. It's not to tear anybody down. It's just a little fun. And as they say, everything is for entertainment purposes only. This show is just for entertainment. It is just my opinion, and it's all allegedly. I don't know these people personally, and I don't want people to. I know a lot of people be out here going back and forth about who likes who, who's team this, who's team that. I will, let you know who I really, who I like on the show, who I probably can live without. But it's nothing personal. It's just if they don't bring anything to the screen, then I'm going to tell you I don't get a lot out of it. I've watched quite a few reality TV shows, and there's something about certain people that you can watch on TV and you can point and say they're going to be the star of this show, or they're going to just something about their presence and they or resonate off that TV screen that you can relate to them. So that doesn't mean you don't like anybody else, but you're drawn to what you like. So with that being said, I have some categories that have listed the women in, and I'm going to start kind of from, I won't say the bottom, but just how I rank them myself and just what I noticed. Again, this is from a Generation X perspective. Remember, we the people that drank out of water holes, so we got some pretty tough skin, and sometimes we have some tough words, but we do it all in love. So without further ado, I'm going to talk about the first two people that I won't say I have a problem with. I don't know them again, but I definitely got some questions. And that's going to be Trisha and Sunny. Okay, Trisha and Sunny. I think there are two beautiful ladies. I don't see anything that I really hate about them or dislike. I won't say hate, that's a strong word. Dislike about them, but it's just something about them. They probably couldn't carry the show because if it was just those two and a few other people, I wouldn't watch. But they do serve a purpose. They are there. Now, with that being said, my rundown of Trish, I call this team the math ain't math. These two ladies have given us so many different versions of how they met their significant other, when they got married, when this person broke up with this person or got divorced, and it's just a lot. So as a Gen Xer, I'm going to give you the exact way that it came off to me on the television screen. First thing about Trish was, she's a beautiful lady in excellent shape. Hey, if I'm ever in Huntsville, I definitely would hire her as a trainer. No shade. She seemed like she knows how to get you there. Okay. But the thing with Trish is, your math not mathing for me. And I call them, they're the can't get right team because at the end of the day, they cannot get their stories together. Now, Trish initially popped on the screen talking to not Sunny, I'm sorry, Stormy and Courtney. And according to the backstory, Courtney and Ken were friends or knew each other for a long time. And that's how Stormy came to know Trish. I don't know if she's good friends with Trish, but she seems to be cordial with her, like she knows her from around town. But they got on the show through Stormy and Courtney. Now, once they get on the show and Trish gets to talking, I don't see Stormy interacting with her as much like she did initially when she first came on the show. They were all together talking. I thought, oh, that's gonna be Stormy's friend. They're gonna have fun together, whatever. And then I kind of seen that veered off, and then I kind of seen her interacting with the other girls a little bit more than I seen her interacting with Sunny. Well, I mean with Stormy. Now Trisha's math don't math for me because she was married. Then she knew her husband since high school, according to her. They somehow separated in between there. He moved to Georgia, Atlanta or somewhere, and now he's back in Huntsville. In between him moving, they never got divorced, so they still legally married. But she met Ken in between this, and her and Ken moved into a house together where she is now raising her two children by the husband she's married to still, but her fiance who she's engaged to. And you have your children in the middle of this, and I'm sure they're old enough to figure out mommy and daddy are still married, but I don't bring people kids into stuff. I'm just saying in the thought process, they have to know that their parents are still married. Now, according to her ex-husband, Marquise, whatever his name is, he said that she was sending Ken back and forth. I guess Trish and Ken were sending each other chocolate hearts while he was still in the same home with her under the same roof. But she was acting as though that didn't happen. Then she said she went to the gym one day. She seen Ken and he ran out. I can't imagine this big dude running from a girl just because he got a crush on her. It's not high school. But that's her story, so I'm going to just stick to the story she said. She said nothing was going on. They were just admiring each other for their workouts. They was both into fitness. I think they were just flirting with each other. Allegedly, in my opinion, I think the marriage to Marquez was a little over at the time, and it wasn't quite on paper or solidified, but I think she was falling maybe out of love with him and in love with Ken, because maybe her and Marquez have been together. Marquise, whatever his name is, I forget his name. Maybe they've been together since high school and she just kind of got tired and bored of him and wanted to try something new. The only thing that's not adding up where they can't get this story right is somewhere in there they threw out that Ken was either married or living with another woman. So was he living with this woman when y'all were exchanging chocolate hearts together? That nobody really ever addressed. So now these timelines are crossing between Marquise, whatever his name is, I'll get it right eventually, leaving town and coming back. Ken living with some woman, whether it was his wife or his girlfriend, and moving out, and then they all moving in together, but yet you still married to this man. The divorce is not processed or signed or hadn't even got started according to her in 4 years. And then to top it all off, she never told her family, according to her words. She said, my family doesn't know that he doesn't live with me. So have you been just bringing him around and going to family functions and faking it? This is what I'm saying. Her story is not, the math ain't math, and she cannot get her story right. In my opinion, I feel Trisha had a crush on Ken. Ken had a crush on Trisha. They may have been flirting, DMing, whatever y'all call it, tagging each other, texting each other while they were both in relationships with other people. And somehow or another, they were able to get it together. And now they're together. And hopefully they'll be happy. She'll get the divorce done and they'll live happily ever after. Now, as a Gen Xer, I would tell you, Trish is dead wrong allegedly, this is just my opinion. She's dead wrong. You do not bring another man into your house while you're still married to your previous husband. If you date this guy, that's fine. You got that guy. If you date him, that's fine. You can go out on dates, but don't move in the house with him while you still married. It's just something about that don't set right in my spirit. I just think it's wrong. And I know he interacting with your children and you're happy with that. The kids get along with them. But it's just something that just doesn't sit right in my spirit about you having this man living with you and you still legally married. I don't care if y'all not together, you are still legally married and another man is under the same roof. Go date. But you should have been got that divorce taken care of. And not saying we people don't do it all the time. You got young kids involved, and I guess that's where my concern is. If wasn't no kids in the house, do you, boo? But there are kids there. You want to set a little better example because remember your kid's going to grow up and hopefully get married one day, and you want to make sure you set a good example for them. Now, Trisha, all I'm asking you to do is next time get the storylines right. And one last thing I forgot to mention about your story, somewhere along the line, Martell fell in there. You knew him, you didn't know him, you went to his house to do some training for him or do a consult about training, but then you used to talk to his brother, you knew his brother, so Martell knew you. It went from I knew Martell to I met him through his brother to I went to his house. You can't get these stories right. And then you never gave us a timeline on that. Was this when Martell was still married or after he was married? Was he living with the side chick at the time y'all and him were meeting up? It's just all over the place. Trisha, please, for the love of God, get your timelines in order because it makes you look bad. Not saying you're not telling the truth, but sit back, maybe write it down on a piece of paper so the next time you repeat it, it makes sense. I'm going to leave it there, Trish. Wish you the best. Next up is Sunny. Another one. Lord Jesus. This girl timeline looks like I can't even the math ain't mathing on that either. Okay. So according to you, you and Miss Destiny were never friends, which is cool. I get that. Y'all were associates, co-workers, but never really friends. Y'all may have attended a few things together, just being cordial, but you never really were friends. Now, you meet your current husband through Destiny. So at the end of the day, it does a little bit seem like you broke a little girl code, but you didn't owe Destiny anything because Destiny wasn't married to him. So I get that. That wasn't her husband. They weren't even engaged. However, just out of respect, you might have wanted to notify her, but in your defense, you said you called and texted her and she never responded back. And if that's the case, then I guess you did all you can do. Because hey, you love what you love, as they say. I just felt like if Moses was coming on to you or you were coming on to Moses, whatever the case may be, you probably should have suppressed the feelings just a little bit longer before you got with him because the timelines just was too close to the show and you being her executive producer, the math just wasn't math. And he was married but dating Destiny, but Destiny was married to LeBerick and she was dating him in between, and he was in jail but he wasn't in jail. Y'all were at a party, you and Moses had mutual friends or mutual relatives that knew each other. There's no way I'm going to sit here and believe that you and Moses did not run into each other in St. Louis prior to this show or knew each other before this show, or at the minimum, you met Moses before he came on the scene as Destiny's boyfriend. You had to. There is no way you could tell me you met Moses through Destiny. Moses never came to Huntsville. The only time I seen Moses in Huntsville was on I think a FaceTime or text message, some picture she showed, but I never physically seen him on the show, and I may have to go back and look at it, but I never seen him on the show until this season. She mentioned his name. I think she either showed a picture or FaceTime him, but he was always in St. Louis. So for you to have met him in, through the show is just kind of odd because he wasn't never on the show. So you went back home and realized, oh, she dating a guy I know from high school or my cousin's friend. Something had the math ain't mathing to me. I cannot believe that you never knew of Moses until you started producing for Destiny, and Destiny came to St. Louis once or twice and then introduced them to you. It's just odd. The math ain't mathing. You cannot get your stories together. Can't get right. You and Trisha cannot get right when it comes to your storyline. Please take some time to figure those out because the math, again, is not math. Okay? Next up is the team that I like to call Team Side Chicks. No offense, don't take it personally. I'm just going to call it like I see it. That would be Kimmy, Nell, and Destiny. And there's a reason I gave them that name. Um, and you'll see when I finish the commentary on each one. First off is Kimmy. And before I go into that, I just want to say that I have never seen a more beautiful set of side chicks on any TV show in my life. These women are actually gorgeous. I'm not going to take that from. There are some beautiful chicks. Even team can't get right. They're beautiful too. So with that being said, we're gonna start off with the beautiful Kimmy. Kimmy, love Kimmy to death. I've never had an issue with Kimmy on the show. I feel she doesn't give enough, but we'll keep on. We'll talk about that later on. I don't think Kimmy gives enough to the show. I think Kimmy kind of rides the fence a little bit, but we're going to discuss her issues that I see as the side chick. She says she's not a side chick. Again, this is just my opinion. I call it how I see it. Again, it's allegedly, so I can say it's alleged. But based on the storyline she presented, she says she met Maurice. I want to say she said something about him cutting hair, and she wanted him to cut her son's hair. And then it was something about her being in an office in the building that they were in. So I don't know if the barbershop was in the same office at the building she worked in, but I kind of remember that. Again, I don't feel like going back 6, 7 seasons and just watching it all over again. I don't have the bandwidth to do that. But I remember her saying that. And then she said later, she thought he was cute. Somehow they interacted, but he was going through a divorce. According to her, him and his ex-wife Kyra were not in the same house or living together, whatever. But then Kyra comes on the scene and says, "No, you interfered with us, maybe possibly reconciling." So that means that Maurice, at some point, him and Kyle was going through the divorce, but they could have been a chance they could have worked some things out. That means they were still in contact with each other. But as soon as he set eyes on Kimmy, maybe he kind of said, "You know what, I'm gonna go this way." So Kimmy might have blocked a lot of that time that he could have spent with Kyle because he started spending it with Kimmy. Allegedly, don't know. But she said she wasn't a side chick. I'm going to have to go with, in my opinion, based on what I seen on the television screen and the backstory that you told me. And when Kyra came into the picture and you looked at her and said, "Clear this up, whether I was a side chick or not," and Kyra wouldn't say anything, that cleared up everything I need to know. As a Gen X, we can read through the lines, okay? I can read through people's expressions. Martell said it. Marceau said it. And your husband kind of sort of said it. And some of the ladies even alluded to it. But I'm going to leave it at that. In my opinion, and again, this is allegedly and for entertainment purposes only, I'm going to have to leave you in the side chick category for now because I don't see anything that convinced me you wasn't a side chick. Next up is Nell. Same thing, Nell. Love you to death, Nell. Respect everything you do. Respect your businesses. Respect the way you handle your family, your husband, all of that stuff. But Nell, you was a side chick too. And I know that probably for a fact. And I'm just saying, I was in the military for several years. I know how military men operate. They can have a wife here and a whole nother family overseas they with. I've seen it happen a zillion times. You claimed that Mr. Fletcher, Chris, was married when you met him, but again, he was going through divorce and, you had a kid, he had a kid already, and you didn't see him for 2 years, and then all of a sudden y'all magically came back together and built this big family, which we now know as the Fletchers. Hey, Black excellence, you're doing your thing. I'm not knocking you down. But you're not going to sit here and try to convince us that you wasn't somewhat of a side chick in that relationship. You was. And it's okay. You the wife now. Same thing for you, Kimmy. You the wife now. The side chicks paid off. Y'all won. Two of y'all at least won. So, there's no harm in that. I don't know if you interfere with the reconciliation of the previous marriages, but the men made the decision to stay with y'all, and that's the decision that happened. Whether you ruined marriages or not, who knows? Um, the next one up that I like to call the side chick is Destiny. I don't know what Destiny got going on. I have never seen any woman in a relationship, and just in the circles that I ran in, I never seen any woman more invested in her boyfriend than she was her husband that she was married to and just had a baby by. I hear you talk more about this guy, and I'm sure you may have a gag order. You can't say much about the ex, but even before you had that going on, you didn't talk about him that much. We met him as the chicken man at first, and y'all got upset about that, and then we finally got his name. He said a few things on TV. He kind of laid low, and then he was off the show. But even when y'all were on the show together, you never really gave me the impression that y'all embraced each other, that y'all loved each other, that y'all were a solid foundation. I kind of seen a little distance whenever I seen y'all on camera. Now again, I'm just looking through my television screen and going off the vibes I'm getting from you guys watching y'all interact. I never seen y'all as a very close couple. But hey, every relationship is different, so I ain't judge. Now, once you and LeBeric broke up, and then the next seasons going forward, that you were still on the show before you took your hiatus, it was like, oh, okay, Moses this and Moses that. And I'm like, wow, she's sure bragging about Moses a lot more than she bragged about the guy she used to be married to or was married to. So once we figured out the whole Moses entanglement thing, it seemed as though, allegedly, and in my opinion, that you and Moses, according to you, knew each other for over 15 years and dated off and on. Somewhere in that dating off and on, you must have crossed and intersected with dating while you was married, because your husband seemed to be very, very adamant about having a DNA test of his child after it was born. And most men don't do that when they're married, especially when they have a wife, because they assume or they trust their wife to the point that they know that's their child. Apparently there was some trust lost there. And usually when a man doesn't trust a woman, she's done something behind his back very sneaky or maybe unforgiving. So that's why I think somewhere along the line, you and Moses' path crossed. And according to you guys, Moses was married at a certain point. You knew him for 15 years. So somewhere in there, Moses had to be married while y'all was crossing paths. Apparently you was crossing paths. So he was a side dude and maybe you was a side chick. I don't know, but it's allegedly, but it seems that way to me. Again, this is a view from a Gen X person who been around the block a couple of times, and there's nothing y'all do that's gonna ever shock me, because I probably done seen more than you probably could imagine. Um, I seem to remember you say when you were on the show, you never showed Moses never came in person to Huntsville. I think you showed his face or a picture to him or something, maybe on FaceTime or maybe a photo. But now I do understand why, because apparently he must have been on probation. So that's why he didn't come. Because I always thought, like, this is the guy she talked about. Why he never came? He didn't come to no reunions, didn't show up any shows. But now it all makes sense that since he's recently been arrested. But it's okay, Destiny. I mean, you guys aren't together anymore. You seem very, very hurt about the breakup and the relationship that he has with Sonny now. I mean, it had to be something more, because you're just getting out of divorce, but you already with a guy. Y'all plan on getting a company together. Y'all planning on naming your children after the company. That's more than just, I met this dude, we got back together, and we've been together for 6 months. You really, in my opinion, your heart was really set on Moses. I don't know what it was, but I really believe that your heart was really set on Moses, and you really, really liked Moses, which there's nothing wrong with it. It just didn't work out for you. And I'm sorry to hear that. But it's not going to take you out of my side piece category. You are team side chick, okay? So I have Kimmy, Nell, and Destiny, in my opinion, allegedly, based on the stories I was giving about timelines, I would definitely say you women were side chicks, and it's okay. Go on and admit it. There's plenty of side chicks running around here who waited on somebody to get married, and side dudes or get divorced or whatever the case may be. You're one. But the difference is Kimmy and Nell lucked up and got their husbands. You, unfortunately, Destiny, it didn't turn out right for you. So hopefully next time, don't be a side chick. Be the main course. Make sure somebody make you priority number one. If they don't make you priority number one, then don't even bother with the relationship. And just from a Gen X point of view, don't mess with men who are married saying they're getting a divorce. Just wait till the paper is signed because they're going through it, arguing, fighting, child support, visitation, property division. Just wait till the paperwork's signed and get all that out the way, okay? And then that way you can't say, oh, I broke up a marriage. It's the worst thing it is to break up somebody's marriage because people never forgive that. They don't forgive you for that. They'll get along with you, but they'll always have it in the back of your head and throw it at you every chance they get. Okay? Just a little advice. Destiny's a beautiful girl, and I hope you do find a person that your person who's ever out there. But maybe tone down the big D energy thing you got. Maybe be just a little find your feminine side and just get a little softer. Nobody wants to deal with a. Well, I'm gonna leave that alone. But hopefully, whoever's out there for you, they're for you, Destiny. The next group of people I'm gonna go over is, which is my faves. I don't know about y'all, but they are my faves, and that's gonna be Letitia, and I call Letitia. Is that her name? Yeah, Tisha. I call her the lady in waiting. She's waiting for her next up or position on the show, whatever. But she's good. The next one up is I'm going to call the princess, and that's going to be Stormy. Love her or hate her, I like Stormy. Okay? And the last one up is Mel. We all know Mel's the queen of the show. And I will confess, Mel is my favorite. I love me some Melanie, but that doesn't mean I don't like the other people too. My two favorites actually is Melody and Stormy, and they on the opposite end of the spectrum, but I like both of them. And I'll tell you why as I go on. Now I'm gonna go with Letitia. That's her name. Letitia. I'm gonna call her Tisha. Letitia. Letitia is beautiful. She's a beautiful girl. Once again, I think she's everybody on the show is beautiful, beautiful people. We don't lack that. I think she's a gorgeous girl. The problem I have with Letitia is not even Letitia. It's not even Letitia. It's like, Letitia, calm your mom down. You could go so much farther on this show. You can go so much farther with your businesses and things like that if you would tell your mother to tone it down just a little bit. I thought Ms. Wanda was entertaining. I liked her. I just felt she started going over the line. Calm her down a little bit. You have a very likable character. You are absolutely gorgeous. But I think your mom kind of hinders some of your progression as far as the things you can do outside of the show. And I know y'all do a lot of appearances and panels and stuff like that, but your businesses can grow so much farther, especially your online businesses and stuff, if people actually liked you in that the way they do Stormy and Mel. Reason being, you can catch on, but you have to build a base, and part of the base is you got to be likable, and you are likable. But then when your mama come out there and start doing her crazy, they take it out on you. You got to tone her down because it's really costing you. And I'm just going to be honest. Nobody wants to see a lady from my generation out here calling other people's children, and I don't care if they 30, 40 years old. If you have a mom and a dad, you are somebody's child, B's and H's and stuff like that. It just doesn't set off well. And stay out of, and keep her out of your business. I get it. I have a child, and we love our children to death, but we also have to understand there's a time in their life where they grow up and become adults, and we don't need to fight their battles for them. I don't need to go up and whoever my daughter having a disagreement or a beef with, go on social media and start cussing that person out. That's her world. That's her world. That's for her to fix. Now, if she needs to sit down and say, "Mom, I need some advice on A, B, and C. How do you think I should handle this confrontation?" Whatever, I can tell her that. But I would never disrespect anybody else's child because I didn't birth that person here. So, kind of, I think your mom is your biggest. She's probably the biggest thing that's fighting against you getting up to the status of Mel and Stormy because people don't like her. And I know people say Stormy mom is crazy, but let me tell you something about Stormy. Stormy was already that girl before the show. And I'll tell you why I say that. So Tish, love you to death, but please tone your mom down a little bit so you can further your brand. You're a beautiful, gorgeous woman. I think you highly intelligent. Don't worry about people saying, "Oh, she don't talk right." Who cares? You're from the country, baby. I live in Texas. I'm from North. When I first came down here, it took me a while to understand what certain people were saying. And it took them a while to catch me because they say I talk fast. We talk fast from up north. That's why sometimes I have to slow it down. But Letitia, you are intelligent, and I know you can be so successful. It was so good when the show started to see you go from being a mother, staying at home, and kind of getting into your own. But what you have to do is bring it down a notch because you kind of showing a little bit of arrogance, or you show a certain smudge or about yourself every time you see the other women doing something. Like if you see Mel come in, you kind of throw a little slight shade. Okay. Sometimes it shows like a hint of jealousy, but I hope it's not. I hope you will foster a relationship with them where you can learn from them and get out, and get your business off the ground like you want to get it off the ground. Okay? But again, beautiful girl, I just need more personality to come out of you. Stop focusing so much on your marriage. We know you married. We know you happy. It doesn't have to be the focal point of everything you do. My marriage, my marriage. We don't really care. If Marceau is cheating on you, whoever she is hiding in a remote village in Africa somewhere because she ain't came forth yet. So I don't think she exists. And if she does exist, she ain't telling. Okay? It's just a storyline people create. Marceau may look at some women, flirt, whatever, but I don't think it's as bad as people say it is, okay? And I personally don't think he's cheating. And if he is, he's doing a good job of hiding it because as much as they talked about him cheating, they would have busted him by now. So stop worrying about what people say about your marriage and focus on you. People gonna talk. That's what they do. They lie, they talk, they gossip. Don't make it such a big issue. Don't make it the center of your world. Focus on getting your stuff together. And I don't mean that you're not a businesswoman, you're not doing stuff, but I want to see you be that girl, succeed, and don't let anybody hold you back. I want to see you be synonymous with Letitia, not Marceau, just Letitia. I want to see your name in something just all to yourself, like Stormy or like Mel. I just even Destiny with Madani. Just have something just for you. I know you work together with your husband, but do it for you, okay? Um, and I know I went long on Letitia because I really, really like her and I want her to do better. Um, Stormy, when I tell you I don't care what y'all say about Stormy. I like me some Stormy. Even though her mom can, woof, Miss Betty, mm, Miss Betty can go there. But the thing that's different between Stormy and Miss Betty and Letitia and Miss Betty is Stormy is likable. I know y'all don't. Some people say she's not. Oh, you watch Stormy on TikTok, she gets it. She's a businesswoman. She gets it. And even though she has some hiccups here and there with the business and had to start over and this and that, and people say some of the craziest things about her online and they don't like her and they try to, you know, rate her bad, whatever. Stormy, business wise, she's getting better. She's learning as she grow, and I think she's gonna continue to be successful. And I will say this about Stormy, and the reason I say this, and y'all can hate me, whatever you want to do. The one thing I say about Stormy, I knew Canvas Beauty before she ever came on that show. And that's just a little known history fact for me. I knew Canvas Beauty before she came on that show. During the shutdown, I wear locks, and during the shutdown I couldn't get my hair retight. And when I finally was able to get to my loctician to get my hair tight, she said, "Hey, there's some stuff." And this was maybe, what was the shutdown, 2020? So it was somewhere 2020, 2021. I forget when. I think it was later on, in late in 2020 or early 2021. But she said, "Hey, it's some it's this stuff called Canvas Beauty. A lot of my clients been using it. You can oil your scalp and stuff real good and wash your locks, and makes your hair grow." And I have a cousin that actually used it too. She told me about it. And I was like, okay. I went online and ordered it because it wasn't in the store. You had to go online. I went online and ordered it. And I was using those products. And I tell you, they really worked. I enjoyed it. The shampoo and the conditioner smelled really, really good. Then fast forward, Stormy comes on Love and Marriage. I didn't know she was a lady who made that stuff. And then when I found out, I went to my bathroom and I looked at the bottle and I said, Huntsville, Alabama. I said, she really do make this. So, and then I realized that was her little, picture on the bottle. So I've been a fan of Stormy's. I don't dislike her. I don't, always agree with how her mother behaves on the show, but I don't dislike Stormy. I think she is a great businesswoman, and I hear that she's going to start helping some of the other ladies, and we may talk about that later, get their businesses off the ground. But Stormy, congratulations to you and all the success that you've been having. And I want y'all to know that you can like people on the show and have your favorites and still get other people props and everything else. The only thing I will say, Stormy, your mom, and I'm glad you kind of keeping her kind of tone, but she's still on social media doing what she do. I don't know why she hates Melody so much. I just don't. And we'll never figure that out. But one thing I learned in life, sometimes people just don't like you because they just don't like you. And you couldn't done no more than just breathe around them, and they're not gonna like you. So with that being said, um, Miss Betty and Miss Wanda, it's just weird the way y'all talk about the next person that I'm going to speak on, and just really disrespects her sometime. But the funny thing is, I've never heard Miss Van, her mother, say anything about your children, your two daughters. Your daughters. I never heard Miss Van talk nasty about Letitia. I never heard Miss Van talk nasty about Stormy. But in reverse, y'all do it all the time. So maybe, you should maybe think about that. You may not like them, but you don't have to say anything. That's somebody's child. And I can tell you, if it was me, I'm just gonna be straight up with you, because I'm a Gen X, and you ladies are in my age group. If that was my daughter and you said what you said about, we be meeting out in the street somewhere. You just ain't gonna continue to disrespect my daughter, and I'm not gonna sit here and argue with you on some YouTube, whatever. I'm gonna see you face to face, and we gonna have a conversation. And we gonna dead it right then and there. You're not gonna keep disrespecting my child. But Miss Van, she's a better woman than I could be in that situation. Nobody would do. Anybody that I bring into this world, that I birth out of my body, I'm not gonna let anybody come up there and talk to them to the level that y'all talk to them. Now, I'm not gonna be out in the streets fighting and all that stuff, because I don't do that. But we will have a conversation, and we would dead it right there, because it doesn't make sense. And I've never, again, I'm make this short because we're gonna try to end this video on the Melanie. But I've never in my life seen somebody talk about another child, another person's child, the way y'all do. Y'all children are grown women. Let them handle their own battles. Stay out of it. Stay out of it. I know y'all want to come on there like y'all want to be Mama D or somebody, but I'm gonna say something about Mama D down there in Love and what is that? Love and Hip Hop, whatever. I never see her talk about other people's children. She talk about her son, the women who date her son, and that's it. And if you cross in her son's, she don't go out there disrespecting any of those young folks on that show. And that's why they love her. And that's why she's so successful. And that's why people love to see her come in the room. Her presence is good. And I'm sure you guys have the same. Y'all just got to stop. But I'm on another track there. Stormy, as I said, she's a princess. I love me some Stormy. Letitia, she's a lady in waiting. I want you to get it together. You can get it together, and I need to see you move on up the ladder there and join the rest of them on the top. Okay. And last but not least, I labeled her the queen, and I don't have a choice on that. Well, I have a choice, but hey, we got to call a spade a spade. She's executive producer. She's the one that keeps the show going. Her character, her and her husband, that whole relationship is the reason the show became as popular as it did. Okay, so I will say that Mel, I have the utmost respect for her. She is, a great businesswoman too, and I think she's doing a wonderful job considering her having 4 children, running multiple businesses, doing classes on real estate, and then having to deal with that knucklehead of an ex that she has. It is, I don't know how she does it. And that's why I give her that status, because the other women, as beautiful and as smart as they are, they're not going through half of what that lady had to go through. Being humiliated on TV, husband having babies by somebody else, side chicks all on YouTube talking crap about her and her family and her husband about, I took your man with my eyes closed and all that crap. That's a whole nother genre there. But for her to have to deal with that every day and still deal with it, and still executive produce the show, do little movies she got going on, Nubian TV, Seventh Avenue Beauty, her real estate adventures, and still raising 4 kids and keeping them grounded. I'm not saying like she's, the queen of the world, but what I'm saying is she's the queen of her world. And she did it through all the adversities, through what everybody was saying about her children, or, the relationship, and even some of the friendships she had to walk away from, because a lot of people just, in my opinion, y'all kind of kicked her when she was down. And people thought it was funny because, oh, I got a husband, I got a boo, I got a married. Oh, where your husband? Oh, somebody took him from you. Oh, this, that, and the third. There's nothing funny about that when you got 4 mouths to feed. That's nothing fun. I don't care if the girl came and to her house, grabbed Martell in his suitcase and drove off. He left that woman with 4 mouths to feed. And for her to bounce back the way she is, and doing what she's doing now, that's to be commended. And I know y'all like, oh, she copied up so and so, and now she on TikTok. TikTok is an open public forum. Everybody on there selling stuff. And if she felt, hey, let me move from here to here, get my sales up, it's not competition. She got 4 kids to feed. Stormy got 1 and a husband. Melody got 4 kids and no husband. She got to hustle. And if she had to move over to TikTok to hustle, then let her hustle. Because the rest of y'all trying to get y'all some accounts on TikTok. Think about it. You're sitting here talking about her, and now you realize it's lucrative. Let me get on there now. Stop it. Stop. It just doesn't make sense. Melody is going to be in my queen category until somebody come knock her crown off. Okay? Now, as far as the show lasting, and I'm going to end with this. I don't know if this is the last season or not, but these 8 seasons was a roller coaster. And I know a lot of people got invested in it. Arguments happened, content creators fighting with each other. And I just felt like, hey, it's for entertainment purposes only. Everything on that show is to entertain you. Yes, these were these people's real lives, and I get that. But we don't need to be invested in people that deep to where we're arguing and fighting over people we really don't know. I am so I was so happy to see a show where it was going to be some black excellence, because a lot of our reality TV is just a lot of, oh, she got a nice house. Oh, she driving a Rolls Royce. Oh, I got me some Gucci on, whatever. But I wanted to see the actual, okay, these people are young power couples, and they're going to rebuild Huntsville, Alabama. I want to see some buildings going up, some houses going up, some ribbon cutting ceremonies. First season or 2, you kind of seen a little bit. After that, it all went to crap. And it all went to crap after this one couple got divorced. Like, everybody stopped focusing on the goal, But again, we'll talk about that in some other videos. However, I just want to do the rundown of the ladies. As I said before, I have team Can't Get It Right. Ladies, get your storylines right. Get your timelines right. The math ain't mathing. And then in the middle, we got the side pieces. I don't care what you say. The way we see it as Gen X's, you technically were side pieces. If the divorce papers wasn't signed when you start dating these people, you were a side piece. Period, point blank. I'm not even going to make that. There's no argument for that. And last but not least, you three beautiful power women. I've rated you my top three because I think you have the potential to be the most successful women on the show. If y'all three actually got together and push past your differences, y'all can take that show to the yourself and that show to the next level. Cause y'all got it. Y'all just got to figure out how to do it and do it correctly. And with that, I wish everybody a happy rest of your day. I appreciate y'all listening to my first video. Ran a little longer than I thought it would. And again, if you have any comments, please put them up there. I'm still learning how to use all this technology. I'm still learning how to upload videos. I'm doing the best I can. And as time go on, hopefully I'll get better. I'll probably do another one maybe in a couple of days or maybe next week. I'm still new at this, so it takes a while for me to get these together. And I need to find the time to do it. But from the desk of Gen X, I hope y'all enjoyed it. We still here. We ain't going nowhere. Ain't nobody let us off the hook. Gen X likes to mind the business that pays us. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye.